To get a little sip of water before we start. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Fox Den. And we have been going back and forth, sending some pictures back and forth so that we can make a wonderful collage of some of Sue's past works. But let me read her bio, and then we're just going to get right on into the talking about tonight's subject. So tonight we have Sue Elliott, and she used to be pretty normal. But she was a successful magazine editor and writer for 30 plus years, and she specialized in creating brand new automotive enthusiast and chef recipe food magazines. And then she launched her baby, a personal transformational magazine called Law of Attraction that was sold on newsstands nationwide. In the midst of all that, about 20 years ago, Sue began hearing messages from the angels. Not too long after that, the angels started training her to coach people in a unique way by allowing the angels to ask questions and providing guidance through Sue. Pretty cool. For the last 2 decades, Sue served as a successful and beloved angel coach, but recently the angels guided her to stop doing private coaching. Instead, they told her to make their most potent messages accessible to far more people through a book called My Angel Coach, Receive Your Divine Guidance and Feel the Angel's Love, which contains 63 messages to support and uplift people. Each chapter starts with a colorful angel attunement that effortlessly dissolves subconscious programming, limiting beliefs, and other gunk for you. Sue is here today with wisdom from My Angel Coach to help you open up your intuition, learn how to ask the angels for help, awaken the truth of your own power, and move from resistance, worry, and anxiety to more calm, clarity, and flourishing. And that's an awful lot, and that is wonderful, and I thank you very much. And welcome to the Fox Den.
Thank you. It's a joy to be here.
Yeah. So you have done seriously a lot of things. And then somewhere I read that you were a Valley girl.
Yes, totally.
Did you totally talk like that? Like totally Valley girl?
Yes, I can, although we didn't talk like that where I lived. But yeah, I'm from that valley at that era. And so it's the northern part of Los Angeles. It was suburbia, basically.
Oh my gosh, what a childhood. I'm from Massachusetts. We didn't have any of that.
Yeah.
We butchered the English language on a daily basis in our own way.
Yes. It was a really cool place to grow up. It's very different there now.
Is it though? Yeah. I mean, every place changes, you know. But this is the book, okay? And I gotta let you know, like, look at all the tabs I have, people. All right. Usually when I tab books, there's good things. And it's not, you can use this book so many different ways. And I'm gonna ask her, like, how are the different ways to use this? But they're nice, beautiful, glossy pages. And you do have a how do you use this book little section here. So let's just start there. And tell me, what are your suggestions on how people should use this book?
Oh, I love it. Well, obviously you can read it like a normal book from front to back, and it does build on itself. So it makes sense. And I'm hearing from people that they like reading a chapter or 2 a day. So some people are reading it in the morning, sort of as a daily practice, and then embodying the teaching that day. Other people like to read it at night as a way to sort of soothe themselves and feel more restful and ready for sleep.
Yeah.
And then some people are using it kind of as a divination tool. So they ask a question, or they just say, angels, what would you like me to know today? And then let the book open to a random page. Random, right?
Right. Yeah, like everything's random. Yeah.
You'll get your answer from the angels. Or if you have the digital version, sometimes people hear a number, and so they'll go to that page, or they may feel guided to go to that chapter.
Right. I mean, because, I do oracle cards and things like that. So I know nothing is random. But I would imagine this is a friend of yours, Adrienne Elizabeth says, hi, Sue. I didn't see anything on the YouTube live. I hope that you can see it now, like on, I don't know which channel you're watching. You're on Facebook. It is on my Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D page, and it should be live now, or on Mama D's channel. Jolie, Mama D's schedule has changed for work, so she has not been able to be here with us, but she should be coming back hopefully when she gets more set there where she can ask for a night off. But right now it's too soon. So she says it's on now. Perfect. Great. Thank you very much. Because that's the one I want you to share. If anyone is going to share any of these shows that I do, please always share the YouTube link, because Facebook now deletes shows after a certain amount of time. So yeah, we want to do that. Now, okay, so in this lengthy bio, too, that I was reading, and these magazines that you worked, and now I'm going to show the picture of this is what we were doing beforehand. So she was sending me some pictures of some of the magazine covers that she does. And there's the law of attraction, because I had pulled together some things, and apparently someone else had taken over that name after she stopped doing it. So I had it wrong. So we were fixing this. And but look at how beautiful they are. They're so well done. And we were getting that holiday baking edition in at the very last minute.
Which makes me want peppermint cheesecake now. Like,
You're not kidding. But now with these magazines, with the like the automotive ones and stuff. Now you weren't like going out and doing the pictures and doing all that work yourself, were you?
Oh, yeah. So I didn't do everything for the automotive magazines, but I've probably written for at least 100 different automotive magazines. And when I fell in love with my first car when I was 3 years old. So the girl across the street got a Mustang, and I loved it. And my dad had gas stations, so I was always kind of tuned into cars. And where I grew up, we were cruising Van Nuys Boulevard, like in the movies. It was really very much like that. Or my girls and I would go cruise Westwood and meet UCLA college boys when we were in high school. That was so important.
I love it. That is fabulous.
So yeah, I wrote about drag racing. I was out at the races, like standing next to the track, taking pictures and writing articles. And I wrote a lot of hands-on how-to articles, like rebuilding your first engine and heat shrinking your roof, like doing body work, how to choose the right wheels and tires for your car.
Okay, can you tell me about my Cadillac and why it has an odor when I turn on my air conditioner?
Oh yeah, it's probably got a cracked heater core. If it smells kind of like maple syrup, that's what it would be. It's a little bit of coolant smell. Yeah.
Ah, okay. So you're now my new go-to car thing, even though I live with a mechanic. He's like, I don't know anything. He works on buses and that kind of stuff, diesel. So he doesn't know anything about the Cadillac. Hi, David. How are you? He's on the other side of the world there.
From this side. All right.
So, all right, let's see. Besides the car magazines, yes, my girlfriend would love to pick your brain about the chef magazines, because that's her. I am not a foodie. I had to go grocery shopping today. It was like, rip my teeth out of my head. I'd rather do that. Right? I don't like it. I'm not, into the chefs and the cooking and everything. I love to eat it.
Yes. So I love to eat it. So I was working with the same publishing company. On and off, I worked with this same publishing company, mostly as a consultant over the years. And by this point, their nickname was Source. I love that Source was publishing my magazines and paying me to do what I wanted to do. Thank you, Source.
Right. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's good.
So the head of business development for the newsstand wanted to do food magazines. He loved Taste of Home and Cooks Illustrated and the really, not hardcore, but really like dive deep into it, make sure it's a great recipe. But we didn't have a test kitchen. We didn't have a budget to, set up a test kitchen. And at the time, Food Network was new. And they were doing a magazine that was just so-so at that point. It's better now. And so I said, well, chefs are the new rock stars. Why don't we do chef recipes? Because then we know they're tried and tested recipes. They're great recipes. And then I had a chef make sure that they had been scaled down for home cooks properly. So I had a consulting chef on staff. And it was me and the chef and an art director. And so I got to reach out and get to know and excerpt books of famous chefs, TV chefs and restaurant chefs, and some lesser known chefs who just had amazing recipes. So that was really fun. And as somebody who doesn't actually cook that much, it turned out I was a really good recipe editor because I knew if there were missing steps. Like somebody who's done it a million times,
things that
I know how to get from there to there, but I didn't.
I don't. And it's like, I need all the help in the world. And I have a whole ton of spices. And my friend will come over and she's like, do we have this? I'm like, oh, it could be on the wall of spices. I don't know.
That's actually my superpower in cooking is seasoning things. So I can taste it and know what I need.
The Italian seasonings. I know how to make a sauce, and I'm Italian. I'm a finished WAP. I'm finished in Italian. But the Finnish are very plain. Hi, John. Speaking of cooks, this man makes the best cookies on the planet.
Ooh, hello, new friend.
Yeah, if you haven't had John Covey's cookies, oh my God. When he goes to events and sells them, you gotta get them. They're so good. But yeah, I'm like, I do know, like, my basil, parsley, oregano, garlic, the basics that are Italian. All the other things like the turmerics and I don't even know what they are. I have them and I don't know why I have them. It's like you look at the spices and go, well, maybe I should have these. Have I ever used them? No. My friend does when she comes over. She's like, oh, you have this, oh, you have that. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. Go ahead. But that's neither here nor there, and that's a whole nother show.
Yes. Cooking with angels. We'll do another episode.
Oh my God. But now you're enthralled into all these magazines and doing all of this this work, and all of a sudden you start hearing angels. Were you hearing angels before that? Is this just something happened to make this happen?
That's such a good question. Well, I was doing the personal coaching at this point. I didn't know what to call it at that point. It was this weird kind of coaching that the angels had me doing. And so I was doing that kind of on the side because I had moved up to the Napa Valley, which is how I started writing about food and wine. And I was really happy. So people were asking me, like, how do I get what you've got? So I started doing some coaching, and I started hearing the angels even before that. So I think I was still a spokesperson for the automotive aftermarket. So I literally was going on TV and radio and telling people why they might want to customize their cars and trucks to make them more fun and more comfortable and more convenient, more beautiful. And then I'm sitting with some girlfriends, one very close friend and some of her other friends who I don't know very well. And one woman says, I can't afford whatever she was talking about. And I hear, tell her never to say that again. And I'm like, what? I don't know this woman. Why would I say that? And I just kept hearing it over and over. I couldn't listen to the rest of the conversation. Finally, I grabbed this woman's hands and I said, please don't ever say I can't afford that again. And she looked at me like I was crazy, and I felt like I was crazy. And it got slightly less unnerving after that.
Right. Yeah,
it was very loving. It was very gentle and nurturing, but also very insistent that I deliver the message.
Yeah, right. But they take over your whole mind. Yeah. I mean, like I do paranormal work, and then the spirit comes in the room, and they really want attention. And if they really get close to me, it's like deafening to me. The sound of my ears. It's like, okay, back up. It will take over. And especially, and then they'll get loud or do things or whatever to get your attention. And so, yeah, I get it. But so once you said that one message, did you knew instinctively who it was from, or?
No, I mean, I knew it was benevolent and loving. I probably would have said the divine or God at that point. And on some level, we're all one being, so it's kind of a moot point. But the energy feels very nurturing and very gentle and a little bit playful. And those are the angels I know. That is how they come across. They love to surprise and delight us. They love to make us laugh. And there are times where they will get out the cosmic 2x4 and whack us upside the head if we're not listening.
I love it when that happens. Right. Yes. Yeah. They have a way to straighten things out. Nope. Now, all right. So I'm just trying to do like a timeline here. So you went from the magazines, you're still working on the magazines, and then you're coaching.
Doing the car stuff. I hear the angels.
Yep. And you're
I started doing the food stuff and the personal transformation stuff.
Right.
And then the magazine work dries up. So,
okay.
I don't have to tell you guys, like the publishing world has changed a bit over the years. And so the publishing company Source that I was working with went through 3 reorganizations in 6 months and killed more than half their magazines. They'd already killed the food magazines by then because of a blunder that the president did. He apologized later. And so my personal transformation magazine got killed. And so I was developing a magazine to bring the same content, this transformation stuff, to business leaders. And we were going to sell it at the same price as Harvard Business Review. And then the board of directors said, we're only going to publish magazines that sell well at Walmart. And a $16 business magazine was not going to sell well at Walmart. No. So the general manager and I had a good cry together. And I was like, okay, I'm not a magazine editor. Who am I? What am I?
And you were told.
I was more of a dark night of the soul. As the identity was ripped from my white knuckle death grip. So it had been my identity for so long, for probably 25 years at that point, maybe 30. And then I did many other things for a little while as I was gathering new skills, experiences, sometimes experiences in doing the work, sometimes experiences with different kinds of people that would be beneficial to coaching clients. So, and the angels can use everything. The divine can use every experience we've ever had. So at one point I was a leader in an education technology startup, and I was revamping the software platform and working with a software development team for the first time, like managing them and telling them like what we wanted to do and how we wanted it to look, doing user interface, like doing all these new things. And later I had a client who wanted to take her physical in-person program for schools, K-12 schools, and turn it into an online platform. And I was like, I know the perfect people for you to work with. And I connected her with those people, and they became partners, and they're doing it together now.
Fabulous. I love connecting people. That's why I do this show. I'm connecting you to as many people as I can at the moment, and hopefully in the future. But yeah, I mean, that's what we're here for, right? Is to help each other, lift each other up, do what we can for each other, and hopefully we'll come back to you at some point.
Yes, the angels really want to jump up and down and say, if it feels like you've been off the path or you're doing things that aren't really what you're supposed to be doing, like they would love for us to just kind of relax and surrender to what we're doing in the moment. Know that the angels will make sure that we're receiving benefit from it, that others can maybe receive benefit from our experiences. Like,
right.
Okay, they're all, it's okay.
Yeah,
okay.
If you get the book, okay. My tabs here. Some of my favorite pages. It's like, look at this. Be gentle with yourself. I mean, these little affirmations, these cards, basically. It's like having an oracle deck from the angels without angel pictures, And my favorite right here. Look at this. Unconditional love. Those babies. Oh my God, I love those babies. But what it says, if you read these, it can mean one thing today and another tomorrow. Yes. So that's why it's a good thing. Like she said, if you just wanted, I did it before because my Penhurst Paracon event is right around the corner, and I've been going nuts. And I opened it up, and I think it was the woulda, shoulda, coulda, and I opened it up too, and I was like, perfect. Perfect. And honestly, if you guys want to know, you got to get the book. And I would just highly recommend it anyway, because like I said, you can read it front to back, and then do that. Do a couple pages every morning. Have it next to your bedstand. Open it up in the morning. What do I need to know for today? Open it up to a page, and you'll be amazed how things will evolve into what it is that you just read. Because I do that with oracle cards sometimes, and I will be just like floored, because the exact thing will happen in that day at some point, so it does work. How it works, I don't know. Is it my place to question? No, I just accept it.
So my knowing of that is that the angels are the ones who orchestrate all of that, right? They orchestrate divine perfect timing. They make sure that we see that billboard or hear that person in line behind us that's delivering our guidance. They're always putting us in the right place at the right time.
It's perfect. It's perfect. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, there was something on here that I wanted to ask you. I have like this list of questions. Okay. Yeah, this was funny. This was funny. And you put a little thing in there that was funny too. So it says, a lot of experts who write a book and share a story about how they've helped their clients. And then in parentheses, it says, maybe because they're trying to get more clients. Right? I think that was hilarious. I think that's why I fell in love with you just when I first even read that. I was just like, oh, this is great. So why do you share so many stories in this book? Why, while you're the example or the guinea pig? And I just love how you put these words in here. So those are your words, not mine. But I wanted the answer.
Well, it's been a journey. I believe that we all are here to teach what we need to learn. If you're a natural at something, you're not a good teacher of it. Like, you didn't have to figure it out. You didn't try 12 different ways to do it. So the things that I'm sharing are the things that I've learned along this journey. And it's been a journey. I started on the personal transformation journey in the early 90s. So these are the things that the angels have taught me or banged into my head because I wasn't listening, right? And I at some point I had to get over myself and be like, I cannot present myself as perfect or on a pedestal. I'm just going to tell you what works for me and how I learned it. And a lot of my clients who have the book have said, this is just like having a session with you. Like, it's exactly like talking to you. So
that's great. That is great. And I do hope that, it sells a lot of copies. I hope that, are you also doing maybe book tour type things or lectures on it anywhere? Things like that.
I am just starting to put together some retreats. So we will do some retreats. We're also doing some audios. So we have a new audio coming out soon to clear all sorts of blocks to money and abundance. So that's that's a good one. But mostly I'm making the information way more available. So when I was doing private coaching, there's only so many clients you can see in a day. The max I could ever see was 3. And it wasn't inexpensive.
Yourself too. Yeah.
It's just, there's, even though it feels delicious, there's still only so much bandwidth. So So the angels wanted me to make this way more accessible to people. It's so much less expensive than coaching, and you have it 24/7, and it's never going to go away. So,
and like I said, you read it one thing one day, and then read it again tomorrow, wherever your mindset is, or whatever path you choose. Because there's 50 of them, right in front of you. It's going to mean something different. So it's a definite reference always book, which is great. And they're divine messages. So, you're not getting steered in the wrong direction. and some of them are just so cute and funny and precise and, dissolving gunk, chapter, your unique perspective. And I love this unique perspective too. And the pictures that you have with these, because, usually when people do angel books, it's all pictures of angels, and these are not, and your true power. I mean, come on, it's amazing. It's just like,
We thank you for bringing that up, because first of all, the book is not about angels. It's
Mm.
about helping you in day-to-day life in really practical situations. And somebody said to me the other day, it looks like a magazine. And I was like, of course it looks like a magazine. I did magazines for years. But we love that. So the angels and I went through sometimes hundreds of pictures to find the one that had the right energy for that attunement. And we love that they're things from everyday life. So when you see that road sign with the curve, it'll remind you to tune into your divine guidance. Or when you see the train, it'll remind you of synchronicity, right? They help to bring this teaching into everyday moments.
Hey,
So,
Kelly. I'm- go ahead.
and the angels also have infused each one of these angel attunements with energy that will dissolve gunk. So it'll dissolve subconscious programming. It'll dissolve limiting beliefs. It'll dissolve those rules that you made for yourself when you were 3 years old that made perfect sense to a 3-year-old, but that are kind of getting in the way now that we're adults.
Yeah.
So unlike most of the self-help books out there, the angels actually do a lot of the work for you through the book.
Which is cool. Yeah. And it's definitely different. And yeah, you can definitely tell that it's from a person that did magazines, just the way that it is set up. And I do a lot of, ads, so I get it, so I do it like that as well, but I just love it. And I love I love the nice feel of the pages too, the nice glossy book, But at first it was kind of tough. They were all sticking together like
Oh no,
staticky, you know what I mean? So I had to get the static out, and I'm going, I wonder if there's a reason to have the static, you know what I mean? Like as I'm doing it, I'm going page by page, and I had to keep on, to get
that's very interesting. I haven't heard that before.
Yeah, the
Your book had lots of energy, huh?
It really did. So I'm just like, wow, this is really cool. I love my books. I do. I mean, look at me. I read a book a week at least, And then I get very, what's the word I'm looking for? Happy when I find something that actually works, that is doable, readable, not too complicated for people. I mean, they could just pick it up, use this book, and it's going to be a lifelong companion. Now, you mentioned again, so you said there were ways to play with the book, right? Because we can play.
Yes, the angels are really good at making things simple and more playful, right? They're really good at lightening the load and helping us lighten up.
Right. So now, let's see. I don't think I need anything else on here, do I?
I don't know. That's a lot of sticky notes in there.
I have lots of things. Oh yeah. This is a very important thing. I'm all over the place here. I'm sorry. I'm like that shiny ball moment. But when the angels say it's a big deal, and I think everybody says it's a big deal, being in love for yourself first, So explain what that means to you for this book and for everyone.
Sure. So one of the reasons that I'm here is to help humanity rise up into a higher level of consciousness that's based in divine unconditional love. So some people call that the new reality. I sometimes call it the new reality. Some people call it 5D. It's the world that we all know is possible. It's what I'm pretty sure most of, if not all of your audience came for. That we're here now to co-create this new reality that is based in divine unconditional love, because we're made of divine unconditional love. It actually is what feels natural to us. And we can't do that. We can't be there when we're not being loved for ourselves first. Now, there's been massive programming in 3D reality to keep us from doing that, right? To tell us that self-love is selfish. You can't do that. It keeps us scared and small and feeling separate from the divine. And
working our butts off.
Right. Because we're trying to earn our keep and prove our worth and get external validation and approval. Or
Mm.
at the other end of the spectrum, we're trying to manipulate and control everybody in order to feel safe or in order to feel powerful. And all of those behaviors go away when we be love for ourselves first. So when I give myself all those things that I think I want from out there, when I see and appreciate myself, when I validate myself, when I love myself when I'm feeling scared or soothe myself when I'm feeling angry, I am no longer at the mercy of outside forces. I can't be controlled. I can't be manipulated. And everything I do from that space of love is so much more effective. I mean, divine unconditional love is the most powerful energy in the cosmos. So if I, and we love to give super real life examples, right? When I am having a problem with something on my computer and I call tech support and I'm all frustrated and frazzled and I will inevitably get that person who doesn't speak very good English and will tell me to uninstall and reinstall everything on my computer. And now I learned to say, well, thank you very much, gotta go, and hang up. And like be love for myself. I may soothe myself with touch or, do some deep breathing, go for a walk, get a hug. And then if I can get back into even just curiosity, like I don't have to be perfect, but if I can get to curiosity and call, then I'll get that person who just figured out how to fix the problem this morning. And they're so excited to share it with me. And we have a whole love fest on the phone. And so the angels want to say that's the difference between coming from divine unconditional love and curiosity is close enough or not. Right. So,
Oh, good. Talk about frustration. I do a lot of yelling and screaming, but you know what? It comes from my chiropractor and my massage therapist says, vent, scream, yell. Otherwise, you get all that stuff in here. So I do a lot of screaming, yelling, and venting.
and that's one of the things in the book is to get those emotions out, right? To express our emotions. And we're not saying, go rage at somebody, but
No.
if you have that really strong anger energy, tear up a bunch of paper, dance. I love to dance around
Yeah.
to Judas
Yeah.
Priest and Corrosion of Conformity. And
Scream into your hand, scream into a pillow, punch pillow if you need to hit something,
oh, yeah. I
Don't
used
hit
to
anything
pile
that doesn't
pillows
hit.
on my bed. I would make a pile of pillows and I would hit them until my arms got sore, and it was a great workout. And
It's a
it's
workout, yeah.
so much anger. At the end, you're like, oh, you're like blissed out from the endorphins, and it's a very good thing.
I know, right? It is. That's fun. I always wanted to check out. Did you ever see those rooms where you can go smash stuff?
No.
Yeah, you can. I have no idea if I have any around me, but I mean I've seen them that you can go in there and you can have these multi rooms. You can get a bat and go in and like if you wanted to go smash up printers and computers and televisions and technology things, you can go in there and smash till you're content. I'm like, man, because you know how many times I say I'm going to drop kick this computer and this printer out this window.
It sounds therapeutic.
I'm like, I want to have one here in Pennsylvania. I'm like, if there is one and anyone knows of one, please let me know because that would be just a ball. I think it would be fun, but you can get out all those frustrations without actually, hitting your own computer or printer.
Yeah, probably better not to do that.
Yeah, we need those things in the end. But it's a question though. Now these angels that talk with you, do you have names or just like do you know specific ones when they're talking? Do they have different characteristics that they follow?
I love that question. I wish I had a better answer. No. So I work with them en masse. I know that there are times where there are lots of angels who are chiming in, and I'm getting all these different voices and messages, and I'm trying to sort of wade through them and make sense of it and then deliver it. So it feels a lot of the time like I'm translating, not channeling. Occasionally, it does feel more like channeling, and I'm out of the way and I have no idea what I said when I'm done. But I don't see them except as points of light. So I don't see them as different shapes or colors or any of that. And I don't know their names. here. So they are my soul family. I do know them off planet, but on the planet, their names are complicated. They're not the angels most people know. It's not Archangel Michael or Raphael. They're angels who are with humanity on Earth now, specifically to help humanity rise up into a higher level of consciousness. So they've spent more time in other parts of the cosmos.
Oh, there's many multitudes of realms of all kinds of beings and angelic beings, and our soul family too is our ancestors and just our spirit guides, So there's a whole bunch of people helping us on a daily if everyone would just stop, listen, let them in,
Yes, they're always there.
Yeah, we all have
helping.
and it's amazing, it's like those things that when you're leaving and you can't find your keys and this is moved and that's moved and everything is like keeping you from getting out that door, but yeah, you're getting saved from an accident, or whatever. So it's like all those things happen for a reason, and it's like, again, thank you. Is that really hard? Thank you very much. I was very frustrated. I'm sorry. I was very frustrated that I couldn't find my keys, but thank you for hiding my keys because I didn't get involved in this big accident, So
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's actually one of the chapters in the book is thank you, greeting everything that happens with thank you. And if you do that for a day, I promise you will be blissed out and you will find it's shockingly easy to find a way to acknowledge things that seem like they went wrong with a thank you. So thank you for ensuring that I didn't show up in the middle of that big altercation that was happening at the car wash that day.
Yes.
Thank you for ensuring that I arrived in divine perfect timing. Thank you for, I got stood up one time by somebody who had booked some time with me. And it turned out she was a salesperson. And so I was sort of annoyed. And then I tuned into my guidance and the angel said, just show up. And if she arrives, it's because she needs to get a message from the angels. And if she doesn't show up, then you can have your half hour back. And she didn't show. And ordinarily I would have been very annoyed that somebody had wasted my time and, hijacked my sacred space. And instead I was going, thank you, angels, for giving me back a half hour. Thank you for freeing up this part of my day. Thank you for allowing this to feel a lot less frustrating and stressful. And thank you for loving me. And it's no matter what is happening, I promise you, the angels will help you find a way to greet it with thank you. And as we meet life that way, with less resistance and more appreciation,
right,
everything shifts.
Right. So David says, my guardian angel first spoke to me when I became aware in my mother's womb. Wow.
That is so cool that you became aware in the womb.
Very I know. Nice. So how did you recollect this? How did this come that this? Or have you always known that? That's pretty interesting. I love this one here too, the surprise and delight me. Because that was one of the first ones too. Besides the woulda, shoulda, coulda one when I was like all frantic. I said, okay, well, give me another. I was very frustrated with doing some stuff for my Paracon here, and I have been working really hard on getting these mini workshop things done, and I just got done. I have 8 people that we are featuring for these mini workshops, right? And I'm going, all right, I have all these papers that I have to laminate. And I've always laminated just with the sticky sheets and stuff. And I said, I can't do this. I'm going to make my life easier and I'm going to buy a laminating machine. Well, it came today and I did these things in like 5 minutes, all done, perfect. And I was like, wow. Thank you for a laminating machine. Just like, this was insane. I couldn't believe how much stress was gone. Just the fact that I could get these things done. It was crazy. So here's his answer. He's always known, and you do also remember your birth. Wow. So you are a very unique and old soul, right? right? So reliving a life like that. That's pretty. David, we're gonna have to talk about that one of these days. That whole experience. I really do want to say that. But now that I brought this up, I'm going to take 2 seconds to talk about Penhurst Paracon. So we do have our mini ghost hunts, okay, and we have, this is going to be the schedule. I am going to be posting all this stuff soon, so everybody has a write-up, okay, and what times that they are speaking. These are our winners for our 20-minute workshops, okay, and empirical paranormal. And I'm just doing this real quick, and I got a picture I can post up here real quick too. Jess, she's going to be talking about crystals and all that kind of stuff, which is really neat. And API remnants, right? So look at the lamination on these things. And this is my baby, my parakeet, because I'm the parafox, and that's the parakeet. I named her. She's our last one of the little workshops. And that is a picture that I do have on here. I believe that this is. So this is all the people, all right, and their times. So these are congratulations to our winners for, putting in the hard work and all the effort that they did for the Paracon. So this is May 17th, 18th, that weekend. And they're going to be speaking, doing their little 20-minute workshops, both Saturday and Sunday. So the postings on Facebook and all the other places should be forthcoming very soon. So I'm just finally glad to have that out there. And
Yay.
Yeah, because it's just so many things at Penhurst that go on. It's like all day, there's things going on everywhere. So this was a big one to get accomplished. So I feel better.
Moment to celebrate with you. Yay.
Yeah, I know it is. It's just like it's all these little triumphs. You get over these little hurdles, and it's just like, yes, perfect. And then on to the next. And then you go start over again.
There's so much to be said for taking that moment to really acknowledge ourselves, to see what we've done, to appreciate what we've done. Like, this is the thing. This is the moment by moment journey, to see
Right.
ourselves, to love ourselves, to honor ourselves for having accomplished this cool thing.
Yeah. Oh, and there she is. This is my baby, my parakeet. She says yes, and love you too, and can't wait to see you soon too. But yeah, she's Black Lantern Paranormal. She's going to be the last one, which means she can go a little later. I'm not biased at all. She's my little namesake. And when I retire from being Parafox, I will give her my name. She can go from graduate from being Parakeet into Parafox. Oh, thank you, babe. And that's my partner and everything. We're getting married at Penhurst actually in September. So.
Wow.
I know. So we're getting married in an asylum. How crazy is that?
That is cool.
That's a good word. We throw people with that, but that's where we have our we've been doing Paracons there for many years, and we've been doing them to help them to preserve the location. And that being said, it was like perfect place for us to have our wedding.
Love it. Well, years ago when I got married, I was still doing the car magazines, and I got married at the Peterson Automotive Museum.
See? Okay.
We had a cruise night automotive wedding. Yeah.
I love it. Now, do you like racing and everything too?
I did. I was always more drag racing than circle track or stock car racing. Not really so much the F1 and the open wheel, the higher end stuff. It was more, I grew up with street racing. So
yeah, my sister had a vet. Well, her boyfriend had a vet, and they had a vet club over at a racetrack that was in Springfield. And one Thursday every month, you could go in with your street cars and do quarter-mile drags.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I had a Buick Skylark.
Oh,
It wasn't a Skylark. It had a 351 Cleveland engine that a boyfriend at the time had put in there for me. So it kicked bought. It was like really fast. So I was like, I want to race, you know. So I went, and, you know, and have fun. And now my daughter does that with her Lexus. She does all these
Oh,
kind of,
autographs?
yeah. So in you know, they put the number on the side of the car, and she got to do this like whole obstacle course type thing. And
Very cool.
she may not be the fastest in it, but she's up there. And I get scared. I'm like, I don't want you to be the fastest. I don't, you know. But her boss at work, they do that, and her friend, they, you know, he does that. He's got a lot of different cars, like Porsches, and he whatever ones he decides to take at that time to go race, then he does that. But I mean, it's fun, exciting, and stuff. I mean, my daughter's in it, I get a little nervous.
Yeah.
You know.
But, I mean, she's on a track, right? Or
Yeah, yeah, you know, you get your helmets and you're, you know, and all
yeah.
that.
And the worst thing, you're going to kill a couple cones. She'll be fine.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. But still, you know, it's like, don't flip the car. Don't do this. Don't try to go too fast around this corner or whatever. I'm a mom, you know, you worry.
Oh, so the angels want to play with that, because that's a big chunk of programming, right? I love you, therefore I worry about you. They're like, okay, so you don't really want to focus on the things you don't want for her. That made my palms all sweaty. That's moving energy already for people. All right, so everything that is, all the ways that we've been trained and programmed to believe that worry equals love. Let's uncreate, delete, dissolve, and dissipate all of that.
Okay.
Allowing us to focus on what we do want for our children, for our family, for our significant others, for ourselves, and giving it all to the angels. So the angels want to share the angel delegation statement. So rather than asking for something or praying for something in a traditional way, which usually comes more with neediness or lack energy, the angels love for us to say, thank you, angels, for taking care of my daughter. Thank you, angels, for taking care of my daughter's car. Thank you, angels, for taking care of her tires, right? Thank you, angels, for taking care of everybody out on the course. Thank you, angels, for taking care of me. Thank you for taking care of my body. When we delegate things in this way, it does a few things. It reminds us that the angels are already on it, which they are, and it helps us feel relief. So if you say something and you don't feel a relief yet, the angels want you to play with the wording a little bit. So if you say, you know, thank you for taking care of this toothache that's killing me, you may not feel relief. But if you say, thank you, angels, for taking care of everything, like the more knotted up I am, the more general I go. Thank you for taking care of everything. Like, I know that's true, and I instantly feel relief. If there's something going on in my body, I may say, thank you for taking care of my body. Thank you for taking care of the team that is helping me with this problem. If somebody's going into surgery, thank you for guiding the hands, hearts, and minds of everybody involved in the care, right? You can delegate anything and everything to the angels. And the way that you know that it's really helping you is you feel relief, or you feel a little lighter, or maybe the room got brighter. Like, there are a lot of different ways. But if you feel in any way better, then, and if you don't, just play with the words. Go a little more general.
Yeah, you know, that's brilliant. That is brilliant, because, you know, people that are suffering and always miserable or gloom and doom, they're not doing this. You know, they're just not. And it's like one sentence can just obliterate all of that. You know, and it's just,
yes. And there are going to be times where, you know, a trauma from the past has been triggered, or, you know, one sentence isn't going to be enough. But, and those are the times where the angels really encourage us to reach out to somebody else. Like, this next leg of the journey, or this leg of the journey that we're on, is really not meant to be a solo adventure. They're encouraging us to reach out to someone for a hug, or a friend, or a coach. Or if you do have a lot of trauma in your system, there are a lot of great tools, EMDR. I like trauma releasing exercise. They're non-cognitive things that help us get rid of it without reacting.
An example of that.
So trauma releasing exercise is actually a series of exercises you do to bring muscles online, and then you just, and you can find it on YouTube. You can find free videos to guide you through this. And then you lie down and your body will start to shake to release the stuck stuff in there. So sometimes it's just my legs that'll shake. Sometimes my whole body's moving around. So you probably want to do it on a padded yoga mat. So you're not hitting your head on the floor.
Right.
And you can go to practitioners who will guide you through this. And if you have had some severe trauma in your life, it probably is very wise to go to somebody who can be with you and support you through a process. But there's almost no one on the planet who has not experienced trauma. So the angels are encouraging us at this point to really support our bodies in releasing the trauma. There's a wonderful book called The Body Keeps the Score that talks about trauma and the history of the treatment of trauma. It's a hard book to read. If you're a sensitive or an empath, you may not want to read it. But
it first. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. There are things that you can't unsee. Yeah, there you go.
Perfect.
Beautiful, David.
Yep. Perfect.
And thank you, angels, for taking care of your wife's treatment. Thank you for taking care of your wife. Thank you for taking care of your relationship. Thank you for taking care of everyone who's been able to be an earth angel for her.
Right. Yeah. Earth angels too. That's a whole nother thing too. Yeah. I was called an earth angel. One girl calls me her earth angel because they helped her helped her son and helped clear a negative entity out of her house and stuff, and it was bothering her son, and, helping her. So now she calls me her earth angel, and I think it's cute.
Yeah, and all of us have done that, right? The angels use us to deliver messages all the time. Sometimes it's a little disconcerting, right? I've said things that, why on earth did I just say that weird kind of snarky thing to somebody? And the angels are like, because we told you to. That was how they needed to hear it. Okay.
So Bob, honey, when I say something to you, the angels told me to say it.
Instead of the devil made me do it, the angels
told me to say it. But they do have a sense of humor. I know that they do have a sense of humor.
They do. And they love to make us laugh. Right. Yeah. So, and I'm glad that you called out surprise and delight me, because if you only remember one thing from this today, if you just said every day, one time, 20 times, angels surprise and delight me, your life would be amazing.
Right. Because you can get who knows what, you just got to be ready to receive. That is the thing, and a lot of people will say, well, I asked for signs for this and I asked for this and I asked for that and I don't see anything. I'm like, are you looking? Which is it's just the first thing, all right, snap out of it. Now you're not going to get like a thunderbolt in front of you. You got to look, you got to be open to receiving, and you got to look for it. You'll see it. You'll see it then. Yes. And then you'll be like, ooh, all right, so give me more.
Yeah, pretty soon, everywhere you go, you'll be seeing the signs. And that's the thing. The angels really want us to live more and more from guidance. Less trying to figure things out, less lists of pros and cons, less scenario planning, right? This could go wrong. I need plan A and plan B and plan Q. And no. All you really need to do is be love for yourself, right? If I'm feeling anything other than inner harmony, take care of myself, soothe myself, get some help, get a hug, take a nap if I'm tired, and then tune into guidance. And the way we tune into guidance can be as simple as, angels, is there something for me to say or do right now? It's kind of our favorite question because it works in any situation, right? Is there something for me to do or say right now? So that's really all we ever have to do. How am I feeling? I'm a little off. Okay, I'm going to take care of myself. Okay, angels, is there something for me to do or say right now? And they want to add that most of the time there's not. Like 85% of the time, the answer to that question will be no. We saw what we were intended to see. We, are there to bear witness or to learn something, or we're just not the right tool for that job. So sometimes we'll see somebody who's really hurting and we want to help, but we may not be the person that's divinely perfect to help them with that.
You're right, but we might know the person who is. So that's when
So when we tune in, is there something for me to do or say right now? It might be call Jenny, because Jenny is the right person for this. Exactly. Or it might be just being love. Like we can activate and radiate any kind of energy that we choose. So sometimes when you're sitting with somebody and the angels say, no, there's nothing for you to say or do right now, you can be compassion. If they're confused, you can be clarity. You can be kindness. You can be love. You can be all calm. You can choose any energy and it will affect those around you, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Was that the part when I said the angel said to do it? Was it that part you're talking about?
Yeah, it wasn't the devil, really.
No, but when you were beginning to talk about this stuff, you brought up something, and I wrote a quick note down, and I can't remember what it was that I saw in the book that made me think of it, but all I could think of was the song by Garth Brooks, "Thank God for Unanswered Prayers." Do you know
Yes,
that song?
I
'Cause
love
it's like that's all I wrote down was just "Thank God for Unanswered Prayers." I don't remember which chapter I was reading or what it was, but she was getting worried.
So let's go back to that. Thank God for unanswered prayers, right? Because
It's such an amazing concept, and because people ask for the wrong things,
and we ask for, yes, we ask for often very specific things. So again, the angels love it when we go general.
Yeah.
And they want to say, oftentimes, and this was one of the problems I started to have with law of attraction toward the end of doing the magazine, was people were like placing their order with the universe like it was a restaurant, right? I want this, this, and this with a dollop of that on the side, and I want it by 2:00 on Tuesday.
Yeah,
And
okay.
often that thing was, I want my perfect house, or I want my ideal relationship by 2:00 on Tuesday, and here's my list of qualities that this person needs to have. And the angels very lovingly and gently remind us that we're on a journey of evolving and becoming. So, thank God for unanswered prayers. Thank you for not bringing me that person I really, really thought I wanted when I was 12
Yep.
years old, or 22 years old, or 42 years old, because there was somebody even better. And the angels see the big picture. So the thing that we think we want from the ground level of reality is often not what would really delight us, what would really light us up, what's most resonant with us.
Just what we need, or the path that we need to be on, or if we were with that person, nope. If we were with this person instead, the one that you do need to be with, then you go on to bigger, better, greater things, help people, who knows what, um it's just that song always got to me, but as soon as I read it in the book, I just couldn't stop thinking about it. It's so perfect. That is so perfect, because it's so true in so many ways. And like it just, this, to read the book straight through, like if you're empathic or very like in tune to things, it's going to send you a little bit on a little trip here. It might be better that if you're very sensitive to read a little bit at a time, digest, feel the energies and the emotions and the things, so that you can get that even line, that even keel, and to actually understand all these concepts and put them into the place where they need to be to help you, or for you to help someone else. There was another one in here. Oh, spontaneous reactions, that's right opposite of your body's messages. And I'm just like, is it divine that those two are put next to each other? Because, some of these spontaneous reactions, they could be wrong too. But, like then you'll get all the tensions and the things that are bothering you. I'm like, wow, these things are right next to each other, and this is amazing. And your body always tells you what's good and what's bad and what's right and what's wrong. And it could be telling you that through spontaneous reactions. And I'm just like, these two are just like, so, and I got stuck on that for a while. I'm going, this is bouncing back and forth here,
So this is the part of the book that's all about receiving your divine guidance, right? So there's a whole bunch of ways the divine guidance come in. And the spontaneous reactions, the reason we love that so much is because we do a lot of things before our mind kicks in. So a lot of us override our guidance with second guessing or rational, logical thought. We talk ourselves out of it. But that ew that comes in before we have a moment to think about, or that yay that comes in before we have a moment to think about, like those are our guidance. That is our truth. And I'm glad that you mentioned the body, because we've been taught to figure everything out between our ears, right? We've been taught to make smart decisions. And we love your mind. We're not trying to kill off your mind.
No.
But your mind sees the world through filters, right? The filters of your belief systems, any subconscious programming you have, and almost everybody has at least some. Many people have massive amounts, limiting beliefs, right? Those rules you made for yourself as a kid, all that stuff creates filters. So if you believe it's a cold, cruel world, you can't see people doing kind things right in front of your eyes. But
Right.
your body doesn't have any of those filters. So your body will give you the unfiltered truth of the moment. So
Yeah.
if you're getting, for me, goosebumps is the angels going, yes, yay.
Yep.
Or if you suddenly get all choked up and you can't even speak around this person, like that's a clue. If you feel like somebody stabbed you in the back, we have all these sayings in our language to help us understand what the body is saying.
Yeah.
And our guidance comes in unique for each of us. So it will make sense to you, right? You don't have to buy any special books to decode what the body's messages are. Your body's speaking to you in a language that it knows you understand. It knows you. It loves you. It is you.
Yeah. You're stuck with it forever.
Well, for this lifetime.
I know. Yeah, I should have think before I spoke on that one. But yeah. So because I know I'm an old soul. I mean, I think I've been here many times, and I'm at the point where I think I'm done with this world. You know what I mean? Like after this one, I think I'm done here. I'm ready to move on. I want to go somewhere else. I don't want to come back here. You know?
Well, you may find once the new reality is underway, more pervasive, that you can't wait to come back here. Just a little forewarning.
We shall see, because then again, every day is different, and how you feel today is not how you're going to feel tomorrow or 5 years from now or whatever. Views and attitudes change. So yeah, I will keep the open mind. But
and what we think from off planet is so different from what we think once we're here. Like it seemed like a great idea before we get here. Sometimes, what was I thinking?
Irrational. Thinking we know what's best. But we're gonna get what we're supposed to. So, you just gotta accept that, and acceptance is a huge thing for everything. I mean, it's like the cornerstone.
Yes. And so much of the world meets everything with resistance. Right. And we're trained to do that from a very young age. Like, this is how things should be, and we need to make them be that way.
Yeah.
And
that one.
I know that's one of the hardest things to start unlearning. And the angels do want to add, because a lot of people resist surrender, thinking that the divine is going to bring you something you hate. And the angels really want to say they know you and they love you, and they're not going to bring you things that are opposite of what would surprise and delight you. Now, occasionally, they're going to bring you things that are going to bring more clarity, right? So on the journey to being in the relationship with your ideal partner, you may date some people who you're like, what was I thinking? But oftentimes, those people are showing you like, oh, those things I thought I wanted, number 2, 12, and 17 on my list are really what my mom wanted me to have. And I don't want those things at all. So we get all these experiences like a treasure hunt to see ourselves more clearly, to see the world more clearly.
Yeah. I just had a thought. what David says is, I've known since my pre-birth, this is my last time here. What if it is his last time here because he knows about his birth? You know what I mean? Like all
Yeah.
these things, like, oh, things that make me just like those two pages next to each other. My brain goes into these
Yeah.
great places.
Well,
Okay.
David, you clearly chose a very different experience in this lifetime. Like you were the first person I've ever encountered who remembers your birth, remembers being in the womb. That's pretty amazing.
I know.
And so the angels do want to say first that many of us have multiple life threads going at the same time. So, we may have more than one life going on Earth and other lives in other parts of the cosmos right now. And there's only now. So, on some level, there is no such thing as past lives. They're all happening right this second. But it's a little hard to wrap your head around. But it is easier to think like, oh, like I recently learned that my soul is also in a 5-year-old in Italy. I'm probably never going to meet her. But it's kind of cool. It's like, oh yeah. The minute I heard that, and I started hearing inklings of that, from other teachers a few years ago, the angels were like, oh yes, of course. So they wanted to put that in our awareness because somehow I find it very comforting. I know it sounds strange, but I find it very comforting to know that I'm experiencing all kinds of things right now, right? I could be here and I could be an Arcturian and I could be a Pleiadian and I could be on ships helping Earth from up there and I could be in this body down here because it's easier for people to hear me in a human body. And they're saying, yes, that's true. And so this planet is about, well, they don't want to give a timeline. I was going to say is about to go through a lot of changes. Of course, it's obviously going through a lot of changes. You don't have to look far to see that. And they want to add that all of us, so all of us in the light worker community, all of us who are here awakening, holding space, holding higher frequencies on the planet, we have the ability to live in the new reality now. And many of us are going back and forth. So for me, I know I am not meant to be there all the time. I'm meant to be more of a guide, helping other people find their way there. And they can't hear me when I'm in 5D, so I have to come back into 4D where those who've awakened are present.
Right. And thank you for that. I'm sure, it's needed. It's needed. A lot of people are lost. A lot of people don't know that there is guidance, that there is something available to get the ball rolling. For lack of better words.
Traditional therapy here in North Carolina. And she said she's seeing a lot of teens who are having spontaneous awakenings and they don't know what to do with it. So it's happening all over and people are confused. And many times they're in a family that doesn't talk about these things and doesn't want to hear about these things. So
I think COVID, when it was COVID time, I think a lot of spirituality opened up and there was a lot of connections going on around the world at that time. And, so at that point I was like, yeah, thank you for COVID, and now I think it feels like it's all getting all clouded and gunked up again. Right. So this chapter that you wrote on clearing this gunk, can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So we define gunk as all the stuff that gets in the way of flourishing. So it could be subconscious programming. And let's talk about that for a minute, because we've said it a few times, but what the heck is it? Right? So Dr. Bruce Lipton likes to talk about how during the first 7 years of life, we're wide open. We have no filter. We take in everything as the rules to live by. So, and it starts in utero. It starts as we're acclimating to our family of origin, the country, maybe even the neighborhood, the culture we're being born into. Mm-hmm. And it continues as we start to go to school. Maybe if we're brought up in a religion, we're learning those things, whatever our peers are, telling us we should or shouldn't be. This is what you need to be cool or popular or not be a total dweeb or whatever, right? So we've got all this stuff. And much of it is contradictory and much of it is limiting. Very few people are born to ascended masters. So your parents had their own gunk. And they were trying to prepare you for the real world, which was whatever world they were experiencing.
Yeah.
Right. So almost every family of origin prevented you from having certain emotions, right? It may be that, big boys don't cry, or I'll give you something to cry about, right? Or not allowed to be angry, go to your room until you can, be respectful, be a nice girl. So we've got all this stuff. And at 7, we sort of homogenize all that or internalize all of that. And it becomes the subconscious programming. So it becomes what's running in the background. But on top, and then things happen through life, right? We go through life and we meet people and we have experiences and we make some more programming for ourselves. And that's just the individual programming. But there's also this whole energy soup of collective programming that's been very purposefully installed in order to control and manipulate humanity by various entities for various reasons, right? Some people want to keep law and order. Some people want you to buy things that you don't really need, right? That we could come up with zillions of reasons why it's out there. But all of that gets in the way of us seeing and appreciating our unique, amazing selves. It gets in the way of manifesting a lot of times. So most of us have had the experience of manifesting some things with ease, and some things, no matter how hard we work and work and work on it, we still can't get there, right? So maybe relationships are easy for you, but money, that's a whole nother thing. So that's a really good sign that you have all kinds of subconscious programming in that space. Most of us were born into areas where, we were told money doesn't grow on trees, and maybe you were told money's the root of all evil, like all kinds of stuff.
All those things. Yep.
Yeah. So, or the rich are filthy, right? Filthy rich. Like, oh, I don't want to be filthy. So the angels can clear all of this stuff. I love Bruce Lipton, and he says this stuff is running the show 95% of the time, and it's really hard to get rid of. Even if it's only running the show 50% of the time in 50% of the areas of your life, the good news is the angels are really good at clearing it effortlessly, gently. So one of the things that I love about them is oftentimes when I'm sitting with somebody, they'll say, okay, we're going to clear this stuff, but this clearing is going to be going on for 2 weeks. Like, they're not going to pull it all out in one big chunk of density. And this stuff is density. It's literally, we call it emotional baggage because
it's gunk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Reiki and prana pulls gunk.
Yeah. So one of the reasons that you can pick up the book over and over again and receive different things is because they continue to clear layer of the onion, right? They get more and more. They won't do so much at one time that it would be destabilizing in any way.
And leave a big hole.
Right.
Because you need to fill whatever you take out, you need to fill, and you got to fill it with your divine light. So your whatever the lessons that you're learning, if you want to.
Yes. And sometimes these things have become our identity, right? So they're not going to rip the Band-Aid off like I had to let go of my identity as a magazine editor and a writer. But they're not going to do this in a really painful way. So they're going to do it a little bit at a time so that we acclimate. It's like climbing Mount Everest. You go a little ways and then you acclimate, and then you go a little ways and then you acclimate. And so that's what we're doing. We're going around the spiral.
Right.
Getting to self-see, look how far I've come. If somebody had said that to me 3 years ago, I would have been flat on my back for a week, like totally debilitated. And now it just annoyed me for 5 minutes. Yay, I've come really far.
Yeah. Yeah. This is I love how you just put all that together. That was just totally amazing. And it is completely and utterly true, And again, once you ask for these types of transformations and they start, be careful what you ask for, because it will keep going. It will keep going.
In most ways, it's going to be delightful. And, to be careful what you ask for, there are going to be people who are going to leave your life. There are going to be people who are no longer resonant. If your friends at work are all the people who get together and complain about the boss all day long, you're probably not going to enjoy hanging out with them anymore. And they're not going to enjoy hanging out with you, Pollyanna. They're going to be like, you're freaking annoying.
Right. Then, the angels are not taking your fun away. They're just taking the gunk away that's keeping you from your divine path, really.
And if somebody is not meant to be your friend anymore, don't worry. The angels will bring you new amazing friends who will see you and support you and uplift you and remind you of who you really are on the days when you freak out.
Yeah, block and delete. You are not serving me. I'm sorry. But block and delete. We all have to do that in our lives, because you know what? You can't. People pleasing is one of those things that, again, instilled from childhood. Basically, it's like, don't do for yourself. You got to do for everybody else, right? It's like, no. People pleasing will not get you anywhere, because you will just make yourself insane, because you will never please all of the people.
And even the same people want different things at different moments, right? They're not consistent.
Yeah, it's you'll make yourself crazy. But if you listen, accept your guidance, walk the path that you're supposed to do, when they say that walk your walk and talk your talk and all those kinds of things, do that. Right? And good things will happen. There's no doubt about it. And when the bad things happen, always remember that song, Thank God for Unanswered Prayers. You get fired from that job, or you lose that relationship, or you go broke. You know what? There's a reason for all those things, whether it's a lesson or something so much better is going to happen. You didn't need that job. You didn't need that relationship, because, there's billions of people on the planet. Okay. There's billions of jobs. There's, work for yourself, all those things. But ultimately, yeah, you'll be saying, wow, thank you that I lost that job. Thank you that I lost that man. Thank you or that woman, or that whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever it is that you lost, and you will be saying thank you.
We hear that all the time, right? Getting laid off from that job turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to me, or having that person leave me turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to me. So it creates space.
Oh my God, no, my life is over. Oh, and
even the not having money. So the angels wanted to share this specific example, because I have one beloved friend who doesn't have a lot of money right now. And it's because of the journey that this person's parents are on. And this person's parents are on a dementia journey. They have personality disorders. They would be glad to spend every penny that this person has. And so the angel said straight out, you don't have money right now, so that they can't get their hands on it. And so sometimes what seems like a really wrong, horrible thing is actually divinely perfect.
It is. It's solving the problem. David says, manifesting. It's amazing for me how a 3-meter Makita straight edge tuned up my workplace when I needed, and someone's spare tire turned up when I needed a compressor at 60 PSI and a 2-way air hose. Okay.
And things do show up in divine perfect timing, right? And sometimes, so the angels want to say this too. So this came through recently as new angel wisdom. And so we've been told that if, money comes in and then a bill shows up that's just that same amount of money, that it's a sign that we're living in lack consciousness. And they want to say it's the other way around. The angels knew that we were going to need that amount of money. So they brought the money in so that we would have it. So,
right. Yeah. So don't spend it frivolously,
Yeah, but if you've been beating yourself up because you keep thinking there must be a hole in my bucket, right? Every time I get money, it goes right back out again. They're like, no. We keep bringing you the money you need right before you need it, just in time. Right? It's okay. Everything's okay.
So I'm gonna just share some of your websites here. So this is your web, and it is www.myangelcoach.com. To get this book, which you will absolutely adore, and you can thank me later or you can thank me now, I don't care, but you will thank me. And that is at www.myangelcoach.com/book. Okay, and there's a free gift at www.myangelcoach.com/soothing-energy. I'm saying that all out for our audio only venue. And on Facebook, it's www.facebook.com /myangelcoach. She's on Insta. So www.instagram.com /myangelcoachsue / Okay. And YouTube, she's got a wonderful YouTube channel. So www.youtube.com /@myangelcoach. Check her out on all of those venues there. So, but definitely get the book. Is the book on Amazon?
It is on Amazon.
Look at that.
So the paperback is on Amazon and available from our publisher, Book Baby, and the ebook is everywhere. You can find ebooks.
Yeah. And then if you go into like Barnes and Noble and if they don't have it there, you say, hey, do you have this book? And then all you have to do is ask or have someone else go in and ask too, and then they'll get the book.
Yay. That would be wonderful.
So, yeah. So that's
the ebook is on barnesandnoble.com. So for Nook. So they know it. It's in the system. They just don't have paperback in the store.
Well, you can get it in there if we go in there and start asking.
That would be awesome. Yes, please.
And I was just like, oh, really? So, and it does, and it works. So let's get books on those shelves. I do like, I don't like so much to have PDFs or ebooks and stuff. I like this. I need this. I like the smell of it. I like the feel of it. I take it with me, because I'm always on the go and doing something, or even here, I'm in a different area of my house. And, if I have a book on my computer, I have to sit here and I feel like I'm trapped reading, and I don't like that. So I have to have a book. It's like my freedom.
Yeah. And I love to take a book to a restaurant and have lunch. And, the book is my friend. It's my companion.
I know, right? It is, and it's a doctor's office. You're sitting there, you're in the waiting room for 45 minutes. You might as well read a book, right? Or this too, you can be, instead of watching the people or getting aggravated about your time, you can say, okay, what am I going to see? What am I going to, get out of this? And then be like, come back to now. See the sense of humor here, people.
That was awesome.
Oh my God. I'm like, it always works. It always works. I mean, I should have read the whole thing to you, but
Oh, no. You just should have done yourself. You don't need to do that. You're reading it the perfect way for Gina B.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
The angels want to say that to all of us, right? We can't get it wrong. And they want us to do things the most us way. So they want me to do things the most Sue way. They want you to do things the most Gina way. Because they love us and because there is no one right way to do anything, right? One of my favorite examples of that is like sweeping a room. Right? So the right-handed person is going to sweep the room a little differently from the left-handed person. And the tall person is going to need a different broom from the short person, maybe. And some people will sweep everything and then it's center and then pick it up. And some people will do little parts of it and pick up the stuff as they go. There's no right or wrong way. And maybe some days you want to do it one way and some days you want to do it another way. Like it's all perfect. The more we can give ourselves grace, the more we can be gentle with ourselves, like that sweet little kitten. The more we can be present, the more we can be in the moment where all our power is.
Yes. Could I please put the email addresses in these notifications? I can't read them here because I still have subtitles on my screen. Oh, you know what? I will put all the links in the chat when I'm done. Okay. In the comments, I will put the links there. But that little kitten is the most adorable little baby.
Aww. Yeah. And that one really is about being gentle with ourselves. Yeah. Because so many of these beautiful, kind people that I meet, right? Such huge hearts. They're so kind and compassionate to others. And then they're so critical of themselves for not being perfect every moment of every day.
Right.
And the angels really want us to give ourselves a break.
I can't find a kitten.
Oh,
Oh. Where's my kitten? I have too many books marked.
all right. I'll find you the kitten.
I got it.
Okay.
Look.
Aw.
Little baby. He's the cutest little thing. Good.
I love
Yeah,
how you
that-
love animals.
I just went up and watched my grandpuppy for a week up in Massachusetts, and he's a little tiny itsy bitsy thing. I think, look at, there we go. Isn't he the cutest little thing?
Aw.
Yeah. That was my happy place for a week. Although he ran me ragged. I mean, a puppy. Whew, I've wanted a puppy again because I lost my baby. And I'm like, I wanted to get a puppy. And then this year is so busy. It's just such a busy year, with all the events and the wedding and the honeymoon and then more events and all this. And I said, well, maybe in the fall, if I survive all of this stuff, in the fall, I'll get a puppy. Well, after watching that puppy, I think I want to just rescue an older dog. I don't know if I got the energy for this puppy because it ran me ragged for a week, and it was just wow. That tiny little thing demanded all the attention, which it should get every day of its life because it's the cutest thing that ever. Like his name is Herbie too. It's like
Oh,
absolutely, I know, absolutely love vest,
but there's a lot to be said for adopting a senior. They not everybody wants an older animal, so
yeah. Well, I've always had black labs, and then I got a Papillon, and the Papillon I got when my lab had a tumor and wasn't doing well, and my daughter had a long-haired Chihuahua, and she would bring it over, and the dog would liven up. So I got a little dog for my dog to help my dog, But I got this little teeny Papillon. Never had a little dog. I didn't know what to do with it, but it wasn't long after that I had to put my Maxie, my lab, down. So then I have this dog. So now I'm trying to deal with this dog. And then the following year, my husband at the time passed away. All I had was the dog. So when I moved here to Pennsylvania, Lacey finally, she passed away here. And I was so devastated. I said, I will never do this again. I can't do this. I can't deal with the heartbreak. But then my neighbor had this little dog, looked just like a little fox, and its name was Biscuit. And of course, I fell in love with Biscuit. And then I ended up rescuing Biscuit. And I could not have loved him anymore. What he brought into my life was fantastic. And he was an older dog, and we weren't even sure how old he was because they weren't sure how old he was, and it was like he was just so great. So these older dogs can bring so much love and meaning into your life. It's like, oof. Yes, I definitely don't know if I can do a puppy.
yeah.
Not at this age.
So do you experience the dogs coming back to you? Do you feel them with you?
All the time. Oh my God. If I could tell you some stuff. I still have little bones and things because I had a cleaning company. I know how to clean. All right. I clean very well. And after my dog passed, I vacuumed everything. I got all the dog hair out of the house. I vacuumed everything. And I was always begging Lacey to give me sign that you're still here. I would all of a sudden feel the little imprint on the bed where she would lay. And I was actually filming it. I was talking to my friends. In the morning, we do this 3-way little video chat, me and Tammy and Tiffany. And I'm like, do you guys see this? And I didn't say what I was seeing. And they said, wow, is that indenting on your bed? I'm like, yes. Okay. But she would also bring me food. And I used to give her this food with these little life bits in it. And she didn't like the life bits. I would get up and I would step on these things and I'd be like, when you wake up and you're kind of not into it, and I'd step on it and go, oh God, Lacey. And I'm like, oh God, Lacey. I'm like, thank you. So I have a little tin that I have all these things. So she brought me life bits, and then she found food bits, and then she was bringing me these little teeny bones, that I would give her. And then I just found another one because I would give Biscuit a little bigger ones. and I found a bone from Biscuit downstairs because Biscuit didn't leave me as many signs as Lacey. But Biscuit also left his favorite toy under my chair, right? Under a big, heavy leather recliner chair that I have lifted up and have vacuumed under and put back down. And then all of a sudden his favorite toy is under there. You know, like, how did you get it under the chair? I don't even know. I'm not questioning. I'm just saying thank you. So yes, they are always with me. And I do actually have pictures of my babies up here too. Because I lost my parents and so that's Biscuit was my rescue. Lacey on the other side was my Papillon. And then my mom and dad I lost within 10 months of each other.
Oh.
So it's my little RIPs. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of loss.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
It really was, you know. So
Well, I love that you're getting physical signs. Do you hear them too?
oh my God. Yeah. I mean, I'm in the paranormal, so I understand, you know, to look for the signs, watch the signs. I do FLIR videos and things. And I even went, there was a friend of mine who lost her dog, said, I swear my dog is running around this table. I went over there with the FLIR and we were sitting there, we were just talking. And she says, I really think he's coming, you know. So I turned it on, and sure enough, you could see the little dog, because that's what the dog would do, go around and around and around the coffee table. And you could definitely see the little mass on the FLIR thermal camera, you know.
So cool.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing, you know, the whole, all of it. So all the realms, all the things, I have absolute no doubt in my mind that all these realms and the spirits exist, you know, and they're here and they're present in this house. There's a lot of them. So yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Very old house. It's got there's 3 floors, you know, and it's a big house. And on the top floor, we have the man that used to live here, and that was his room. And apparently it was floor to ceiling books. And then when they had to sell the house, they had to get rid of his books. He was angry, and I'm getting all the sounds now. It's like he was angry about losing his books. And I said, okay, I'm going to try to find your books, you know, because I would do all these things too. I'd have my friends come over and we were doing sessions, and, you know, I have this on video and on audio and everything. And he gets upset and he's like, my books, you know, and he yells it. And I'm like, okay. And Dougie, my neighbor, was the one that was telling me, because he was the one helping clear out the house. And I said, well, what happened to the books? He said, well, a lot of them were dry rotted and they had to be thrown out. And the other ones were like donated that were good. So they go into good homes. So now what I got to do is I have to buy books for him, because they're not my books. I had one Western civilization book when I moved into this house. And downstairs, there's another library in the sunroom. Okay. And I would put the book on the shelf. And then I would go in to grab a box to unpack, and the book would be on the floor. And I'm like, Bob, why are you throwing my books on the floor? And he's like, I'm not throwing your books on the floor. And I would put it back on the shelf. And then sure enough, it would be on the floor again, you know? So then I'm like, and Doug was asking me then, he said, is there things going on there? And I said, well, yeah, there was this. And he said, wow. He goes, I you know, I think that was Stan Stosh. Okay. That was his favorite type of book and everything. And I know that was his room, because when I actually was looking at the house, I saw him up there, you know. And so I now I buy, you know, those types of books. I gave him that book. I'll go up, I'll change the pages for him. You know, there's a table, like he's got a suite up there, and it's, have at it, you know.
That's so lovely. I love that you're taking care of your ghost.
Yeah, well, yeah, you know. And then his wife, you know, lived on, and she passed. She's also here. The other spirits, I'll say, you know, like if I'm looking for them, I'll say, is Stanley here? And the other spirits, you hear them yelling for him, like, Stan, Stosh. And then you hear another woman saying, oh, they're at the bistro. And it's like, it's like there's a conversation that goes on. And as long as you have a conversation like this, they have a conversation back with you, you know? And it's just, it's crazy. But I mean, it's all on recorders, you know. I'll play them. You know, I mean, you can hear it, and it's just it baffles me and makes me happy, and you know that everyone here is content. You know,
Yeah.
that they
You're
can say,
never alone.
yeah. And then there's an occasional people that come in. I got up one morning. I came downstairs to get coffee, and I go through into my kitchen and I look into this like little nook that we eat in, right? And there's a gentleman standing there, and he's got khaki pants on, a white shirt on. He's got a nice haircut, and he's got a saucer and a cup of coffee. And I was just like, I looked and I said, "Yeah, not now." I just walked over to the coffee pot, poured my coffee, and he definitely made himself known. This man was Travis, and he was murdered. He was murdered by fire. He was in a throuple with two other men. Okay. And so he was very boisterous, telling me things I really didn't need to know, you know. But it was just crazy that, you know, he just came here, you know. So I was looking up and things in the area, you know, if there was any gentleman that, you know, died by fire. And then they said by propane. And I'm going, propane, you know. Did a propane tank explode? Was it a propane heated house? What I don't understand the propane part of it, but I was trying to look it up. I was trying to look up histories of a death by propane fire, you know. But then he left. I think he just wanted to tell his story, you know, because we got a big story from that man. And my friend Tammy was just like, wow, because we're trying to talk to Stan. No matter what floor we went on, this man was interrupting every time we would start talking. He was following us around because he had an audience.
Trouble finding a new audience.
Yes, had an audience, and he was just full advantage taking it. It's like, you got it. Oh my god!
I love it.
Okay, so we got another thing from David. He said, "I used to roll around with our dog Becky when I was a baby. I always had a dog. I know I had a dog growing up all the time. And this is like the longest I've been without a dog since Biscuit. But yeah, busy times.
Yes.
The events and travel. You know, I didn't want to have a big dog because can't take them to the events. Little ones you can take, you know."
First puppies. Okay.
Yeah, little puppies, little babies. Yeah, I like the little babies, like little Herbie. I mean, he gained a little bit of weight since I left, and he's like almost 3 pounds now.
Oh,
3 pounds, this little baby. Gotta love them. I gotta love them. But I think angels bring these pets to us. They really, really do.
they do. And our pets will stay with us, right? And take care of us after they've made their transition. And certainly come back, sometimes in a new form, to be with us again. I remember years ago watching A Dog's Purpose. I never read the book, but the movie was beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Reincarnation for dogs.
Yep.
Yeah.
The same dog over and over and over and over and over and over. It was just like, yeah. What was it? Was it the Frisbee at the?
Yes. No, it was football. Wasn't it?
Oh, football. Yeah.
No, football. Yeah. That was so beautiful. Yeah. So we have all these beings here with us to encourage us, to love on us, to, you know, help us know that we're not alone and to help us navigate life. And the angels really want to help us navigate life. They would love for us to surrender is the wrong word, right? Just live from guidance, to be a little more relaxed, be a little more in trust. Oh, so they want to talk about trust. So many people have a hard time trusting other people for very reasonable reasons, right? Or have a hard time trusting ourselves. We can come up with, you know, evidence that we're not trustworthy. Not that they're encouraging you to go down that rabbit hole, but they want to say the only thing we ever really have to trust is the divine. The divine, the angels will show us if something is a yes or a no in the moment, right? So if you're sitting in that meeting with somebody who's trying to sell you something, or you're interviewing somebody for a job, or you're being interviewed for a job, right? You don't have to figure out, is this person trustworthy? Is this the perfect place for me? All you have to do is tune into your guidance. Is this a yes or a no? Right? And you want to say sometimes a no. Well, a no never means like bad, wrong, awful. This thing needs to be eradicated from the planet. but sometimes it means not now. So Paul, my beloved, will turn into his guidance around like the stock market. Do I sell this stock today? And sometimes that's too broad of a question. Sometimes he has to ask, do I sell this stock now? And then it gets a no. And then he'll tune in an hour later. Do I sell this stock now? And then he'll get a yes. And then he will, because it will have gained in that time, right? So
Yep.
the more we can just be open, be asking the questions, and be living from that guidance, really just follow the guidance. Oh, the other thing the angels want to say about that is our guidance is time sensitive. So, for example, with the stock market, it's easy to see, like you want to sell the stock when the angels say to sell the stock. You don't want to wait a week and then do it. I mean, nothing terrible is going to happen, right? You're not going to get struck by lightning. But if you've been wondering about something and you suddenly feel like, ooh, call Bob, like call Bob as soon as you can. You don't have to like pull your car over to the side of the road and put it in park and call Bob right that second. You can wait till you reach your destination. But the angels want to say, don't put at the end of this, 25-page to-do list as something you'll do someday. The reason your guidance said call Bob is because he had an answer to the question you were just wondering about, or he's looking to hire somebody just like you, or, there is a very good reason. And the more we can just not need to have proof, not need to necessarily know the reason, but just trust, right? So sometimes you're going to get call Bob because Bob was really depressed. And Bob needed to hear from you to be cheered up. Sometimes you're being the earth angel. So it may not always be obvious to you why you had to call Bob, but call Bob anyway. So, and they want to say, in the earlier days of following our guidance and living from guidance, they're going to bring us a lot of proof. They're going to bring us a lot of experiences where it's very clear why following the guidance was divinely perfect. But most of the time, once we get the hang of it, we're not going to get that because we're going to avoid the car crash, right? We didn't drive through the intersection at the wrong time, so there won't be any proof that we did the right thing because we didn't have a problem. So much of our guidance can be preventative.
Well, they could be proof because they could be, remnants of that accident as you on your path, and the fire trucks or the ambulances might still be there and be like, oh, hey, that could have been me.
Yeah. So sometimes there's that, and sometimes they've helped everybody avoid going through at the same time. So they're really encouraging us to, when we have that proof, if it really matters to us to have that proof, to maybe make a journal, or write it in notes on your phone or whatever, just make a record of it so that in those moments when you're not feeling so hopeful, when you're maybe even feeling depressed, you have that thing that you can go back to and you can reread that and you can feel some more hope and you can ask the angels again, okay, is there something for me to do or say right now?
Yeah. Journaling is on the top of my list. All right. Always. I'm always, advocating journaling, especially like when all of a sudden you get that message, journal that message. That random thought that comes in your head, like, why is this coming to my head? Or, a name that you don't even know or whatever it is. Yes. Write it down, because then if you go back and you read these things or look at these things and be like, oh, I know what that means now. Like when you go to a psychic and they say, oh, so-and-so is trying to get in touch with you, or, someone that looks like this, and you can't think of who it is, but then, 3 weeks later you go, oh, I know who that was. You know what I mean? It's something like that. It's like, you might not know it at the time that you're getting it, but it will click or something will happen and that will be written, So journaling is huge. Journaling is really big.
And the angels want to also suggest that we have a dialogue with them in our journals. So sometimes, kind of like the Conversations with God books, if you remember them, right? Neil Donald Walsh wrote a message to God. He was really mad. And then he was like, he heard an answer. So he wrote it down and then he asked another question. And you can do that. You can ask the angels anything and just let whatever comes through, like write without thinking, don't censor it. Just write it down and then sort of sit with it and then see if you have another question. And you can absolutely have this dialogue back and forth. You don't need any special skills. You don't need a magic mantra. Just give it a shot.
Right. Oh, and David says I should have died in so many car accidents when I was a young fella. Me too. I had, before I was 17, I had whiplash 7 times. And now I have all
Woo.
kinds of neck issues, arthritis. And I mean, it will debilitate me, like migraines and upset stomachs and everything, from those accidents. And some of them I should not have lived. That car that I was telling you about, that Skylark, big, heavy metal. Well, I was going down a hill and it was icy, and there was a guy, like on the side street. There was a car in front of me. He lets that one go by. Well, two cars in front of me, right? So two cars, and then I'm coming down and he decides to pull out in front of me. I can't, I hit my brakes. I start sliding across the street. Now, mind you, huge, like a little strip mall thing, and again, still on a hill, right? Strip mall thing, all open parking lot. Okay, I'm like, well, I'm just gonna try to get in there so I don't hit this guy. One telephone pole, one, in the middle of the stupid thing before you get into the road, and my car was heading into the driveway, but then went down and then forward again and right onto the telephone pole. So right in the middle. So dents in the front of the car, which is hard to do with the Skylark. It's metal, right? What's barreling up the hill is a tractor trailer truck.
Uh-oh.
Because it has to make it up the hill. It can't stop. I'm looking at it. I can't open my door, and I'm thinking, oh, this is definitely it. So, and we didn't drive with seatbelts on. I didn't have a seatbelt on, and I just kind of put my hands up. I knew I was ready, and it hit. All the glass shattered in the car. It knocked me off the pole. The big dent, I went one side to the other, and what I got was some scars, like you can see, like scars like that from glass, and it's like up in here, but no broken bones, no nothing, no, like, and so I mean, if it was gonna really be my time, then that's like one of them. Another one, a truck smashed me into a guardrail. I'm like, it was like three times with these trucks, and I'm like, another one, I don't know if I'll survive. So I freak when I'm driving with big trucks now. I don't want to try to get by them or way behind them. It's like I'm not driving next to them because it's scary. But it was like, thank you, God.
Yeah. Well, and that's another great opportunity to engage the angels.
Yeah.
So years ago when I was married, we had a Harley and I would ride on the back. And every time we'd go for a ride, I would invite the angels to come for a ride with us. And they loved doing that.
Yeah.
Never had a problem, never had a close call. Everything was fine. After we got unmarried, my ex kept the bike and he almost got hit 3 times. And so he sold the bike. But I asked him, like, did you invite the angels to ride with you? And he's like, oh,
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, you should have.
yeah. So every time we get in a car, we can do that, or we can give them carte blanche to always ride with us, right? You don't always have to remember, or you can
Right.
get a little angel thing to hang from
I
your
have them. My mom always gave us these little pewter angels. So that's the first thing that goes into my car every time I get a car. Yeah.
There you go. So thank you, angels, for taking care of my car. Thank you, angels, for getting me there in divine perfect timing. Thank you, angels, for clearing the way if that's divinely perfect. Thank you for ease and flow, right? And they want to say that sometimes they literally will dematerialize us and rematerialize us. So
Yes.
one person
That's
who
what I think happened, because I don't know how I survived that. I don't know how I didn't get any broken bones, because I did go from one side to the other. So yeah, I understand that concept, because I always thought about that too. And you had no pain every time. It's like,
wow.
it's so strange, and it's like, it's for a reason, and yeah,
I've heard multiple stories from people who've experienced, like, I backed out of my driveway, I forgot to look, I felt something weird, and I turned around and there was a semi that had just driven through my car, and the semi driver was like, what happened? And neither of them was hurt, neither vehicle was hurt. Just
yeah. There's lots of stories like that. Oh my God. It's mind-boggling. It really is. But it's definitely a divine intervention, and it's definitely that both persons in that, instance, like a story like that, or the one, there's a reason and a purpose, and whatever message or whatever person they're going to save or they're going to help, or an animal they're going to help, or whatever, they need to live that life, they're not done here yet. And that accident's not ready to take them,
And maybe they need to be the walking, talking example of miracles, right? Maybe it's that direct that,
Yeah, just that only, yeah.
Mhm.
I know. And who are we to question? Just, yeah. Okay.
Because
I
that's so powerful. I mean, how could you not believe after you've had that experience and after somebody you know and love has had that experience? Like, oh, wow,
Yeah.
beautiful. We are loved. We are taken care of.
Yep. And at one point I had problems with alcohol. This is not a thing that I hide, and I did. And a friend of mine was trying to get me to go to AA and start talking God to me and everything else. And I said, well, if God existed, then he'd shut my mind up. And at the time I was talking on the phone, and I was walking into my living room, and I'm talking on the phone, and I sat down on the couch like a child would, like, and then as soon as I sat down, it was like an iron curtain came, boom, and my eyes were open. I can hear this guy, Kevin was his name, talking, but nothing. It was like blank black, like an iron thing. And then all of a sudden it just went away. And then I'm like, what the heck? And I told Kevin, I said, oh, great, now I'm going crazy. And he's like, no, you just got a love tap from God, is what he called it. He said, he just gave you exactly what you wanted,
Yeah.
exactly what you asked for, the time you asked for it. So how can you deny it?
So cool.
I can't, and it totally changed my life. And that was many, many years ago. Many.
Yeah. Yeah. And the angels want to say, it doesn't really matter what you believe in, right? It doesn't matter if you believe in angels. It doesn't matter if you believe in God. It doesn't matter if you believe in any of this stuff. You can just listen to your body. You can just listen to your instinct or your gut. You can call it anything you want. They just really want you to listen.
Yeah. Isn't that nice? It's comforting, because you're not alone. You're not alone. And it's like, there's so many people are out there, and they're just so devastated and just so, hurting and and needing something or someone. And it's like, yeah, you're not alone. You're not, even when you're alone, you're not alone. It's that simple.
Yeah. And we can ask the angels to help us feel their presence. We can ask them to fill our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies with divine love, which feels wonderful. We can ask them to fill our home with divine love. They literally encourage us to send our energy or love or both into every situation we're going into. So if you're driving somewhere, you can fill the whole road, the freeway system. You can fill all of the building that you're going to move walking into. And I remember I used to walk into the publishing company's building, and it was a black hole of energy. So many corporations feel like that, right? They just suck the life out of everybody in there all day long. And if I forgot to prepare myself, I would come out just exhausted. I might only go in for an hour, but I'd be like wrung out by the time I came out. Yep. So the angels say in those sort of situations, especially if that's your daily workplace, like fill it with your energy. Let the angels fill it with your energy, or if you don't want that, you can fill it with divine unconditional love. You can fill it with compassion. You can fill it with clarity. They can put you in a bubble if that would help you feel better. Like whatever you would like, they're happy to help with it.
Yeah. Kind of what I do, like I ground and I shield, and I tell a lot of people that, empathic people and, and budding psychic people and things like that, because there is all that energy out there, and it's just bombarding, and it's just like all consuming, and you got to ground and shield, and you do have to make that bubble around yourself, so it doesn't attach to you, and all that gunk will fill up, as soon as you meet one person that's all full of this kind of anger, and then you get angry, and then you meet this one that's all sad, and then you get sad, and then you meet that one who's happy, and then you're like, why am I laughing? I was just so sad, and I was so by the time you get home, you have this bundle of raw nerves and energy, and it's like, all of that, you don't need to live like that, because you can ground and shield and protect yourself from that. Or you can ask, your angels, your spirit guides, your, guardian angels, whatever you want to call it, your soul family, whatever you call it, you can ask them, help me to ground and shield, and yeah.
And if you feel something all of a sudden, right? If you suddenly get angry or sad or a pain in your elbow,
Yeah.
right?
Is it
The
mine?
angels encourage us to say, is it mine?
Yeah.
Because most of the time it's not. And
Right.
so if you say, is it mine? And you feel lighter, it wasn't yours.
Right.
Oftentimes we end up with that pain in the elbow and we go to the doctor and they can't figure out what's wrong because it wasn't ours to begin with. It's very hard to heal something that's not yours.
Yes.
So
I
is
thought I
it
was having a
mine?
heart attack. My dad was having a heart attack. I thought I was going to stroke out. I kept saying I'm going to stroke out. My sister had a stroke. I was just like all the time. I'm always and I'm states away. I'm in Pennsylvania, there in Massachusetts, and I'm that far away. And I'm like all these things. I'm like, you guys gonna knock it off? You're killing me now.
You're killing me. And so the angels kind of tune down, like turn down the dial on that, right? So it's less intense for you and you can just have
Yeah.
an awareness of it instead of the full
Yeah.
physical experience of it. Although sometimes if they need help, they're going to give you something really intense to get your attention. But
Right.
the angels also want us to know that we don't have to worry about all those things. We just return it to love, right? So whether it's an entity or somebody else's thoughts or somebody's physical symptoms, we can ask the angels to return it all to love.
Right.
And if it's an entity, it will either change to the energy of love and stay, or it will find the energy of love totally repelling and repugnant, and it'll get the flock out of there.
Yep.
So love is the answer.
That's about it. Yeah. That's my job. That's what I do. When I talk to people, it's like, hey, all right, what's going on? Well, they're bitching about the spirit in the house. I'm like, well, okay. So I get all their list of things and what the spirit's supposedly doing or aggravating them or whatever. And then I go and I talk to the spirit. Like, all right, well, they say this. And then the spirit will be like, yeah, well, they changed my wallpaper and they're knocking down a wall and they're doing this and they're doing that. It's like, all right. So are we going to work this out?
You're a mediator. I love it.
So can you live together? And if not, one or the other has to go, and that's basically it, because you can't keep going back and forth with this energy.
You can't keep tearing down the new wallpaper.
Right?
Maybe it could.
Like that wallpaper you're putting up, this is not my house. And it's like, you got to understand, it is not your house anymore. It is their house, and if they allow it for you to stay, then you can stay, but you'll have to accept the new wallpaper.
So how do you get them to leave if you can't work it out?
Many different ways. Depends on the spirit. If they're reluctant, then you have to eradicate them, and that's a big process. And it depends on. I use a method. It's kind of like, it's a little, because I'm Catholic, so it's a little bit of Catholicism, shamanistic, everything. But again, it depends on the spirit. What the religion is in the house, where the spirit is it, you can't use a Catholic exorcism to get rid of a Native American spirit. You know what I mean? It's like, you got to know who you're getting rid of. So when someone asks that question, it's like, it's a loaded question because it's so many different methods. It will be what the spirit is, most of the time it's convincing. It's just convincing them that they don't have to stay there, that they can go on to the next place. And then why are they not going on to the next place? Well, they're afraid to go on to the next place because they did this in life and they're afraid to go on to that next place. And then you got to get them to understand that none of that matters, and that all of your loved ones and all of your past relatives are there waiting for you with open arms, and all is forgiven over there. And you will know that the second you get there, because you will be so enlightened. By the time you're done convincing and talking about what is going to happen and what is over there, because I know what's over there, and then they'll usually leave on their own. which is always nice. And then you feel it, and the whole atmosphere changes, and it's like that squelch button on a stereo when you have that noise, and you can feel that lower thing, and when it just gets shut off, and then there's nothing, they're gone. You really feel it in the whole house. And people always come in and say, wow, everything feels so different, or light, or whatever. Dave says, thank you for a great show. I hope you have a great weekend ahead. Oh, thank you. You too.
Thanks for playing, David.
Yeah, I know. You were fun. but it's all, oh my God, we're already after time here. Oh my goodness. But this was fun. Yes. Love to have you back. Oh my God. But people, okay, I'm gonna put up her things real quick here again. These are all her website, myangelcoach.com, myangelcoach.com/book, get the book. And you can get a free gift at myangelcoach.com, soothing-energy, and Facebook, she's My Angel Coach. On Instagram, it's My Angel Coach Sue, okay? And YouTube, at My Angel Coach. Check her all out. Get the book. She's an amazing person with an amazing message. Amazing messages, divinely inspired. And I'm trying to find my thing here. Here we go. I can't believe we were past time.
No, thank you. This went fast.
It did. Thank you. Hang with me for a minute. I'm going to say bye to everybody, and I will see y'all next week. And what am I talking? I think we're talking about some kind of corporate something. Yes, Walking the Leadership Edge. That will be next week. So that is my next book to read, and we will see you then. And ciao for now. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D. We are here every Thursday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you a variety of guests or our own intuitive oracle card reading shows. We are streaming live on Facebook on my personal page and our YouTube channel, The Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, on Mama D's YouTube channel, Angel Meadows, as well as our audio-only venues. We hope you enjoyed our show and our guest or your reading, and we would love it if you would go to our YouTube channel, The Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, subscribe, share, and definitely hit that notification button to never miss a show. We'll see you all next week, and subscribers, watch for our pop-up shows as well. Yay! Yes, it ended, right?
It still says we're live.
Why are we live?